is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Friday. Right now, the start of 2 hours, 2+ hours, nonstop MLB DFS conversation, taking you straight up to lock, straight up to first pitch, 7:05, 7:07, 7:10, 7-ish. Crunch time coming in around 6:15 or so. You got Will. Will's coming in addition to Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, Taylor Smith as well. Myself, Kid Yahoo, leader of the Juggalos, Jug Nation. It's Kirkwood, Kirk D's. How are things in your world?
Hectic right now, actually, to be honest with you, but pretty good. Ready for this slate. We're trying to get ready. It's going to be more like we figure it out together today.
Okay.
Interesting stuff here, how we're going to deal with like Blake Snell and how we're going to deal with the Orioles.
That's the slate, right? That's the slate. It's a super chalky Blake Snell, which is never comfortable, and it's super chalky Baltimore in Coors. Like we saw what the Marlins did in Coors, and this is like a real live baseball team. I know you're not a fan of Baltimore. You think they're kind of fraudulent. You like to take your shots, but they do have the highest total on the board. They're locked in for 9. They are facing a lefty, which might lead to some pinch hit stuff. Me and Steve were talking about that pre-show as well, producer Steve. I presume we are projecting Austin Slater to draw the start, but again, Baltimore, their bench is deeper these days. When a lefty comes out, Gomber almost definitely a righty's going to come in, and we'll be curious to see what Baltimore does with their pinch hitters. Probably O'Hearn on the bench, probably Mullins on the bench. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Again, it's hard to predict. If the score is 15-1, they're probably just going to keep those guys in there. But they need a key hit. They're down by 1. Slater versus a righty is almost definitely coming out. Yeah, that's an interesting conversation. I don't know what to do with Snell either, but like he's at home in the best ballpark versus the worst defense, and the counter to that is that he pitches against himself, right? He's not really facing a team. He is facing a team, but it's all about what he's bringing on that particular day. We saw last time out where he could just walk the world, and that's it. If he can't throw strikes, he can't pitch, and they just have to take him out of the game. So, and he's, 50% owned, Kirkwood? Is that where we're at right now? I believe so. Amongst the 20 pitchers tonight, he's going to be on half the rosters on DK. Fully justified. It makes sense. I think if I remember correctly, his last start. Do you know how many hits he gave his last start by chance? He only lasted 3 innings.
I do. He gave up 0 hits.
Yeah, no hits. He threw a no-hitter. But he had 6 walks, and the pitch count was outrageous. And that's just what he does sometimes. And it's super annoying. And that's, I'm not playing. We'll talk about the stacks that are on. I'm not going to do the old leverage thing and stack the Marlins. It's probably if he doesn't get there, it's because he's just walking a bunch of dudes. And, I don't think the Marlins get there 2 points at a time. But, 10-gamer. Kirkwood, I guess you're going to be back here in a second. I just saw you just appeared. I'm not sure if you're still in the frame. If you're still with me. Oh, there you are. All right. My apologies. I didn't see you had to dip out for a second. 10-game slate. Probably no Corey Seager. He's not in the Texas lineup. Lineups are sprinkling in on through as we're having the conversation, as we're speaking. No left on left for Seager. Baltimore, their team total is 6? Almost 6. Yeah, closing in on 6. Is that, of course, that's the only team in that kind of territory. The Yankees close to 5. Eric Fetty on the mound for St. Louis against them. Cleveland about 4.7. Pretty good weather there in Cleveland, according to Weather Edge. I did mention Roth earlier. Nothing really dicey last I saw as far as the weather stuff could change. I'm going to give us a refresh. I'll drop it in chat as well. Yeah, green, yellow is basically everything across the board. So nothing really to be concerned with. If something changes, of course, Roth will be on top of that. Do want to mention it's a free Friday. Typically, we give away one of our free tools. We're running back the contest. Free contest. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. So go ahead and jump in the Discord channel. Producer Devin dropped that link in chat. RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. And, take down that contest. No gimmicks, no shenanigans, no nonsense, no lowball. Just win the tournament. Just win it. Get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. And that's for all the sports, and you'll be able to play a little bit of Thursday night football. Kansas City, Baltimore. Is that the game on Friday? Do we know what the schedule is, just Jay Kirkwood? I think Kansas City. Somebody plays in Brazil, which is pretty cool.
You are my right hand man. You are the one I'm turning to for NFL right now. I am not ready.
Well, I mean, you don't have to be, right? If your focus is DFS, we care about today and today only. You care about today. Today is baseball. You'll care about football when we get there, right? Okay, so Green Bay is in Philadelphia on Friday nights. They're not in Philadelphia. I guess Philadelphia is the home team designated, but I believe that is the game in Brazil. KC opens up Thursday night at home versus Baltimore. That should be a fun one for sure.
So I wanted to tell the chat what I was getting at by saying I turned to you for NFL. So Dean has been my right-hand man for drafting season long. So so one of my good poker friends, I always help him in it's a bunch of poker fish, but it's a nice priced league where you can win a lot of money. Dean was at the helm of that. 2 drafts, actually, one for each.
That team is amazing, by the way. I don't want a victory lap, but I did an incredible job.
And now I'm getting messages from my friend. He's like, this guy just offered me 3 for 1, trying to get Waddle for Swift and like 2 other players. I was like, no, it's like anybody who's offering you for 3 for 1 trade is a fish, and they're trying to get over on you, or they're a fish. Just you literally just drafted your team. He's like, but he said I need a running back. I'm like, no, just you're doing nothing. So we're gonna charge him a management fee. We're gonna get into that later, Dean, off air. But I wanted to tell after 2 drafts, the big boy is going down on Saturday, and it's one of my good poker friends, and he's in a league with Paul Pierce and Irv Gotti, and Dean is going to be drafting that draft. So
I thought it was like a silent partner. I didn't really. Okay, yeah, let's do it. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm in.
Yeah, you're silent, but I can tell. But nobody, these worlds don't intertwine. So, and I want to say also how you Wally pipped someone. So last year, Chop was the one to draft in that league, and they finished last place. And he got the boot this year. And I said, I got somebody else. In steps my man Dean, and everybody's happy so far at this point. But
we haven't lost the game yet, so there's nothing to complain about. Just give it a week, and I'm sure there'll be something to complain about for sure.
I think it was honestly. I think the Chops team that he drafted was the all-time lowest score in the history of their league, or something. So they kept inviting me back like a lot, like saying, but we've got him. We've got him this year.
Chop was playing low ball. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, everyone got injured. So we ran terribly.
Well,
he had Aaron Rodgers with our quarterback. We had Garrett Will. Like it was just like. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
We may for tiers, we may be talking about a little bit of football later on in the show for tiers. So stay tuned for that when it comes to power rankings. Less than a week until the NFL season starts. But tonight we care about MLB DFS. It is a 10-gamer. We kind of touched about, very, very clear, like what the obvious stuff is. Baltimore and Colorado. Has that lineup dropped just yet? I don't think it has. Got an eye on it. Most recent lineup that came out was Arizona. And again, the Rangers dropped. There's no Corey Seager, so cross him out. One of the I guess left on left, he wasn't one of the more popular players in the slate, but just worth noting. Do you want to give me your thoughts as far as the overview? Snell, Framber, taking on Kansas City. But do we want to pour one out? We want to pour out some pasta for our boy Vinny Linguini, Vinny Pasquantino, done for the season. He's got I think it's a finger. Just on Fettuccine Friday of all days. I guess it happened yesterday, but the news dropped late last night. My season-long team. It's struggling.
It made me sick to my stomach. I was all ready.
They're gonna miss him.
I was ready for my fettuccine tonight, and it's gone. And we don't have meatball Mondays anymore. Tortellini Tuesdays are ruined. It's just it's a shame.
What is Wednesday? What was Wednesday?
Wednesday was Prince Spaghetti Day, but you guys put up a lot of fight on that one.
I just know what that is. I think it's a regional.
It's a regional thing. Yeah.
So that's a bummer. He was having an awesome second half too. A big hole in that lineup for Kansas City. Now it's just Bobby Witt, and basically it's Bobby Witt and the Vincent Vega Pulp Fiction gif where he's just looking around for good teammates. Kansas City's not really fully loaded, but that is a bummer. Cross him off the list, and that makes Framber Valdez's life a little bit easier tonight, taking on the Royals without Vinny Pasquantino. A couple other good pitchers, historically good. Well, Kirby is a good pitcher, but not like a great strikeout pitcher, taking on the terrible Angels. We got Slippin' Jimmy's brother, Tyler McGill, is taking on the White Sox. He's probably like your de facto SP2 du jour. I think for cash games on DK, you just pay up. You're still playing cash games these days. You're just paying up double barrel with Snell and Valdez and just find a way to make that work. John Gray, I don't think he's throwing enough pitches. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Where we're projecting 75 as a median projection, which to me seems a little bit ambitious. He is facing Oakland though. But and also Gray's like, old and not very good, and there's no reason to push him, and Texas is going nowhere. So I'm not really in on that as a cheap.
I have, he's not stretched out, but I had a recollection. We went through this, something like this with either John Gray or somebody on Texas where he didn't look stretched out at all. And then all of a sudden they let him throw like out of nowhere.
Dunning, maybe
90.
I'm not sure.
It was either Eovaldi or Gray, I think, but I can't remember. I don't know. It just popped into my head. That's all.
27 pitches, 53 pitches last time. Maybe he jumps up to 70, maybe. But he's also like not very good anymore. He got shellacked last time at Cleveland. I'm curious if people are going to be rostering him. Steve is saying it was Eovaldi in chat. So
yeah, he broke the slate, and it was like you can't play him, and it always was in the back of my mind about Texas.
They're another team though. Like they're not really going anywhere. Texas, right? I mean, he's old. There's really no reason to push Gray. I don't think. He can
his
be
slider's
okay.
Not working at the moment anyway, and that's the whole key for him. So he's not good anyway right now. We attack him. But this is a crazy slate. This is like the highest chalk pitcher like on a 10-game slate for Friday with Snell and Valdez, and then the two highest offenses are obviously the Orioles and the Mets, right?
Mets or Yankees, I think are, and I think Cleveland's kind of interesting too. I think it's pretty clear what the best stacks are, but yeah, it's Baltimore in their own tier, right? And then probably the Mets against Jonathan Cannon in that bullpen, ballpark bump for them for sure. And then maybe the Yankees. Maybe the Yankees are next. But yeah, I think it's pretty clear like what the quote unquote good stuff is. It is a 10-gamer. Baseball stuff always happens, but it is pretty obvious like what I don't want to say supposed to do, but like weird things happen to baseball all the time. Some team's going to come out of nowhere and put up a 12 spot. Hard to figure out who that's going to be. Trying to see who else I guess Colorado is also one of the more popular. Albert Suarez is not somebody we're afraid of necessarily, and they have a 5 total, the Rockies. So I guess you can throw him in that mix. I put him 5th in my stacks. I did it earlier today. I believe you did it as well, right? Myself, yourself, Dave Potts, and I want to say Squirrel. I think we were the 4 that participated in the rankings. Should shout out Squirrel, by the way. Squirrel did 2 shows yesterday, did other content as well. I think his articles and things of that sort. And then at night, he took down 50K. He shipped the big boy on DK.
It's getting to the point now where I'm just getting jealous and I'm not happy for him anymore. And that's when you've made the top of the game. You know what I mean? Like there is no better compliment than that.
He's very good, man. He's very, very good. I saw the link here that they were showing like what he was talking about on Crunch Time yesterday on Twitter, talking about the Dodgers, and I almost got there. I had a moment. I had a chance. Not to make this about me, but Gunnar had the bases loaded, and he was on my best team, and we were in striking distance. And speaking of striking distance, he struck out with the bases loaded, and that. Well, dreams are killed, but that's where you want to be in baseball, right? Where you have one at bat, you're one swing away to make that big jump at late, and that's where I was. I was positioned, but did not.
I mean, there's no better. I ran the best in a live final, which was the best, like the biggest score I ever had by far, and
tell that story.
I got 3 homers in the top of the 9th inning.
The reliever for Washington, right? Was it a reliever for Washington?
Doolittle, and then so that's what I did is I bought a Doolittle jersey after I won instead of the.
So what did you jump from, like 10K to 200K?
So I was like initially I was like in the top like 5 like the whole time, and then like it was over. Like nothing. It was my fate was sealed. And I was gonna be like top 20 or something, and like so I was like already like then all of a sudden the ninth inning comes around, and like homer, okay, second homer, okay, and look at then I got the Ryan Braun low owned homer, which was the one that really it took me to second. I couldn't catch first because of my pitching. But I mean, there's just no better feeling.
But what was the lead? Like, but what we went from 20 grand or 10 grand to what?
350. I went from like 75 to like I was gonna get like 75, maybe like 100 it was like 50 to 100 in there, like that range, and then I jumped to 350. It was insane. But like there's no better feeling than that. But then now we chase that feeling, and we have to go through 1,000 times where the gunner where they strike out like over and over again to get back to that point. But I mean,
hitting homers are hard. It turns out, like the most likely thing is the player is still gonna. We see how great these hitters are and how much of a gas can this pitcher is. The most likely scenario in every at bat is the player gets out. Maybe there's a few exceptions. I don't know. But basically, the most likely scenario, the player gets out. Do hit that like button, by the way. What's up, chat? Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, do all those things. We do have ownership. We kind of touched on it. I want your pitcher overview. We mentioned it already. Snell, 49% currently on DK. Second most popular is Framber Valdez, taking on a Kansas City team without Vinny P. 27%. Double barrel seems like a route you can go. Obviously, you can't go double barrel and, Gunner and Santander. All the boppers there from Baltimore, because we do live in the world of a salary cap. Pablo Lopez up next versus Toronto, 27%. McGill at 17. He's the first cheapie du jour to jump in there. Kirby, just not the K rate necessary, but still against the Angels, he should be really, really solid. Coming in at 15%. Then there's Gausman, kind of a down year for him at 10%. We mentioned Gray at 10%. Lively, not really on that. Stroman at 7-2 just doesn't strike anybody out. Like, what is the upside of Stroman? I guess he can go 6-5-ish, clean-ish, and get a win.
I tagged him, so I'm on Salary Savers today, and
sell me on Stroman.
It's a tough. You want to hear my sales pitch?
My sales pitch was
if you just have to have another salary saving pitcher on DK, I'd first recommend trying to get up to Pablo Lopez, like getting out of there, like just rebuilding. But if you need the savings, I would go to Stroman if I had to. And like all you're hoping for is an efficient outing with and it's something that he very well can do against this lineup. But it's not going to come with a lot of strike. You're just going to need efficiency, and you're going to get the win. You're hoping for an easy win here with the Yanks bat, but it's a tough sell. Like McGill is the clear cheapie. Like he's the only like really good cheap play. I think. I mean, any of these guys can come through. Like JP Sears could come through. But McGill's my guy. But if you have to, you want to like you don't want to take the chalk with McGill, because McGill's ownership is gonna be up there too as well.
The thing with him is a lot of strikeouts, right? 26% Ks, but a lot of walks and a lot of fly balls. Yeah. So he's kind of a poor man's Snell. If you really kind of look at
if you look at it, beside the poor man from the strikeout, very poor man. But like the walk percentage, they're like neck and neck. Snell's at 11.2% of the season. McGill's at 10.5. However, there's a lot. He's coming off of a really strong start on the 18th in AAA, and overall just being good in AAA. And the swing and miss stuff has always been there with him. And this is Chicago, who's dead last in everything: WRC plus, WOBA, ISO, against right-handed pitching. So
what about walks? Where are they at with walks? How patient are they? I'm pulling that up right now. I'm sort of thinking 6.7% collectively as far as the lineup today. Lopez is a little bit patient, Sheets a little bit patient, but not really patient collectively.
On the season, they rank 20. Their active roster ranks 27th.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Yeah, I was reading in Dave's article. He was talking about McGill racking up a pile of Ks, and he should rack up a pile of Ks in the minors. Let's see, posted 32.9% Ks in AAA, adding a 26.3% K rate in his 9 starts, which, that is the third highest as far as the slate. But again, walks, fly balls, but then he's facing Chicago. I just don't love that he's like popular. You know what I mean? Like this is the kind of play I don't like that's popular, but you know, I like the upside.
But we're dealing with all popular. Like it's like nobody wants to like. So what are our other options here?
Framber.
So, I mean, Framber's going to be extremely popular.
Yeah.
So
not as popular as Snell, but yeah, he's second in line.
Who's not going to be popular?
That
we can actually pitch. Let's go. Let's look. So I mean, the Snell and Framber, great. Pablo Lopez has been a little shaky, but this Toronto lineup stinks. Vlad is good, and Springer's been a hotter bat as of late. But other than that lineup, it's not very good. George Kirby against the Angels. Kirby struggled a little bit, but he should be able to do this matchup. But and then there's like McGill, and that's what we're dealing with ownership. Like, so the other guys who else are you going to play besides that group? Are you really going to go John Gray? Are you going to go Gausman? Are you going to go Ben Lively? Are you going to go Stroman, Sears? I mean, you could do worse than a Zach Gallen, but it's a horrible matchup against the Dodgers. Kershaw's on the bump, but like he does not look the same whatsoever. And Arizona is just a very potent offense. I mean, you know anything about this? Is this guy getting the start? This Samuel?
Yeah, I was looking into him. He was the 5th ranked prospect in the organization for the Angels. Looking at his minor league stuff and kind of his projections, doesn't like in Double-A, 13%, 13K per 9. There's too many walks. It's sort of a typical, fair bit of strikeouts, fair bit of walks, but I'm not terribly enthused. I wanted to see what Steamer's got him projected to strike out 19.8% in the majors and walk 10.5%. So that right there is not something I'm into. It doesn't seem like something I want, basically, long story short. King is saying Sears in chat, no Seager. I think amongst all the nonsense you threw out there, I don't know if I'm going to get there, but Sears might be
he would be
favorite amongst that nonsense.
I can sure. Now, the only thing here is that it's like he's not even – you guys hear Dylan? He loves
He's having a good time.
Yeah. 7,900, though. It's like – I would expect him to be a little lighter, but like Texas has been bad.
And no Seager.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Last night, like
what's that?
The bat spent all season not saying Texas was terrible play. Like it would never recommended Texas, and then this season, it loves Texas this season. Funny how that.
Yeah, I don't. And I guess they've been. What was it? Yeah, last year that was the thing where everybody came at Cardi for Texas being not. He was saying Texas was not spectacular. I think he was saying it at a time when they were dealing with some injuries, not to make excuses for Cardi, but I think that's when he was saying it. Other names that are being thrown out here in chat. By the way, Casey wants to know: is McGill? I know your kid Yahoo. Is McGill not on Yahoo?
He's not on there. He's not there.
Huh. Okay, that's weird. I mean, I know he's been in the minors, so maybe they kicked him out of the player pool, but that's strange.
And I don't know why they have to be purposely trying to make their time lock different than FanDuel and Yahoo, right? I mean,
I think they're trying to be different. Right? I think so, but I don't know. But that's the only thing that makes sense because they want to like counter. It's like counter programming. I think that's what they're doing. We got a Baltimore lineup, not surprisingly. Albert AC Slater. We got Austin Slater. Oh boy, I thought Dylan would be tired out from his walk earlier today. He's still got a bundle of energy, huh?
Yeah,
he's fired up.
He's fired up. I want to go check on him, but
if you have to go check on him, go for it. Slater is leading up. All right, Slater is leading off for Baltimore. We got Santander batting second, Henderson third, Jimenez DHing batting fourth, Urias fifth. There's Kauser, Rivera, McCann is in there. Noted lefty masher, some people would say, at least once upon a time. So no Rushman. That makes the stack a little bit easier to get. Just one more bat, though, that's a pinch hit, right? Holiday, the left on left, who might almost definitely only gets 2 at-bats versus the lefty anyway from the start. Derek is saying Dylan has hopped up on Munchkins. Can you confirm or deny?
I gave him – actually, he did have donuts today. That was much earlier. I did give him some – so I put him in his playpen, which he's like kind of outgrowing at this point, and he's got so many toys. And he's literally just – throwing all of his toys. He's having a good time. Looks like a war zone. But Yeah, he had a bunch of cookies. He's hopped up on cookies.
I don't want to be like a paranoid Pete, but look, this Baltimore bench has Adley Rutschman. It's got O'Hearn. It's got Mullins. I'm just saying, Slater, Rivera, McCann. There's some vulnerable pinch hit stuff here. Just kind of mentioning. Not saying you can't play these guys. Just understand the situation going in. Michael's saying, anyone know if any of their outfielders are more likely to play because of the cores in their outfield range? It's a good question. I would say that's probably why Jimenez is DHing, right? I don't think he's noted for his defense. I'm not like a defensive like savant guy, but yeah, that's suggestive. I mean, he probably DHs anyway. Who do they have in the outfield? Santander, he's kind of a big boy out there in right field. Cowser in center, he's not going to get moved. And in left field, also maybe Slater sticks around for his defense. I don't know. That's a good question, but I still think there's a chance he gets, especially if like the situation calls.
So who's their bench? Who are the guys coming in? So they've got
Rutschman, Mullins, O'Hearn, 3 lefties. Well, Rushman's
not in the lineup.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm just saying. I'm not trying.
I'm waiting for the Fantasy
paranoid.
Labs version to update, but it's not. So RG has it.
It should be. Well, I saw it on Twitter, and it should hit refresh, and it'll probably pop up in a second.
Oh yeah, I got it differently.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think. There's one. I think there's one more hitter on the bench that.
Yeah, they're gonna mix and
a
match.
lefty.
They're definitely gonna.
Just
there's gonna be a lot of pitch hit risk in there. Depending, unless they like are wrecking them, then they'll just let these guys go. But
if it's a blowout one way or the other, it doesn't matter. But if they're down 1 or 2 within the 6th inning, 7th inning,
like literally Slater and Jimenez are so cheap.
Mm-hmm. Slater's going to be really, really popular, and we don't talk a lot of like player specifics on this portion. They talk about that more on Crunch Time, but I'm going to go out of my way to not have Slater. I think I don't want Slater on my team. If he leads up the game with a home run, whatever. But like I'm not playing him on my main.
He's going to lead off with a triple. He's going to lead off with a triple.
By the way, he's stunk this year too. Just like I know he's like a lefty masher, or that's how he sticks around in the league. But he's not good. 127.
I think he's done okay since coming to Baltimore.
Do you want to know his ISO versus lefties this year is 48?
It looks terrible.
It's not good. It's not good. 267 WOBA, striking out 26% of the time. He is patient. He'll take a walk, 12.6%, and good for him. But like, I'm not going to be. I'm not playing Slater. I don't want to. I shouldn't say.
Wish of the day, says Mr. Gerg.
Hey, you know what?
Slater's the mush of the day. And I wanted to say what's up to Juggalo Nation, every single one of them that's in here. And yeah.
By the way, no George Springer. You were talking about picking on Toronto. Gets a little bit easier for Lopez.
Then you got a cheap Wagner too at 2.7K. It's a lot you can do in this slate.
All
Who's
right.
Nathan Lukes?
Nathan Lukes?
Does that count for the 2 first names, or is the S kill Lukes?
Nathan Lukes is 30 years old, so he's not a prospect. Who is Nathan Lukes? Does this person play baseball this year? They did play 31 at bats last year, which I don't remember.
What's the line on Minnesota here?
As far as the betting line?
Yeah, this is going to be a Kirk.
All right, let's. I got my Hard Rock Sportsbook open right now. Scores and odds, you get the best line, but
I might even have to do a run line here.
Minus 160, plus 125, minus 1.5. Are you feeling that? I'll mush you.
I'm gonna do. Thank you, appreciate that. What? So it's minus 180. You have 160. You said?
Yeah, you have minus 180.
DK. Hold on. Let me. Well, wait a minute.
Well, you got to shop around.
That might be. I gotta refresh here. It might be yesterday's game.
Yeah, give me a refresh and let me know. If you go to the Scores and Odds, you can find the best possible lines. You can see 6-7 different books. Obviously, depending on what state you're in, what access you have.
DK, it's 180. Let me check FanDuel.
So you're telling me I should bet Minnesota minus 160 is what I'm hearing.
I
know you're not officially giving advice.
If it were me, I would just stick your entire account on
it. You don't know how much I have my account. Doesn't matter.
But regardless of what it is, I would stick it all.
All right. Just if things go the wrong way, you got a couch, nice little couch over there.
I've got some room, Dean. I would love you could help out with Dylan. That would be amazing.
Well, now you're giving me.
You want to be a nanny? You want to be a nanny? You're
giving me responsibility. I'm Mr. Mom.
You might just enjoy it and be like, "Oh, I got it. Go ahead, do your."
Would you trust me with your kid for like 3 hours?
I don't know. I heard you can't be like 100 yards within a school zone or something like that.
That's not true.
That's the rumor that chat likes.
I don't think that's a rumor. I'm pretty sure that's not a rumor. Back on track here.
178 on FanDuel. Yeah, you got to smash that.
Dude, it's 160 on Hard Rock. That's better. That's where you got to hit it.
Smash it right now. Did you smash it?
I did hit it.
Yeah.
I got the run line too. And dogs. I have a great line of experience. My resume with dog watching is spectacular. If you ever need me to watch a dog, I'm good with that.
Phil doesn't need much. I mean, Phil is the most annoying dog in the world now, and and there's a lot of problems and stuff. But other than like taking him out and like him begging for food and needing to be near you at all times, he's like easy as can be.
Well, I mean, that's a good sale. That's about as good as your sales pitch for Marcus Stroman.
Like I showed you, like I go to the park for Dylan and he just stays in the little bottom cart, and he's fine there. He just stays.
He's like 10, right? He's been around for a
15.
while.
He's about to turn 15.
Oh wow. He's like the Charlie Morton of dogs.
No, he's
Is there a better comp? I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind, but yeah. All right. Lopez, we like a little bit more, right? The absence of spread.
Yeah, I love him now.
Okay.
I just look at this lineup. It's just such trash. Like Bernie Clement, Luke's, Jimenez.
I wanted to see Luke's K percentage stuff. What is he projected to strike out for in the majors? Kind of a contact guy, projected to strike out at 19.7% in AAA this year, 15.6% as far as Ks, but like 7 homers, 4 stolen bases. Just, they don't have anybody, I guess. Like they don't have a prospect to just kind of give him a taste. But yeah, 30 years old, he's nothing. Like good for him. He's back in the show, but he's still grinding away. But this is not somebody we should be afraid of. Is there anything else we should say as far as pitchers? Matt is saying Gausman season. We didn't really talk about Gausman. How do you feel about Gausman tonight?
I mean, so basically it's a tough sell. I'll look personally against Minnesota. I just think Minnesota's pretty good. Also, he hasn't been the greatest. He's coming off of like an incredible start in his last one against the Angels where he got 10 Ks.
So up and down.
Yeah, he had his splitter back, which has always been like his problem. That's his like incredible pitch that he has, and so he needs like the heater and the splitter combo. But this is a different test now. So they loaded up with lefties, right? So they got Castro, Larnach, Wallner, Julian's back, Lewis, Kepler. He's got 7. The first 7 batters are all lefties.
I'm pulling up the plate IQ right now.
It's gonna show he's actually been worse against righties, but they're very comparable. They're basically the same.
So you said you're going to figure it out in the show. We're having the conversation.
Or no, Royce Lewis. Sorry. Royce is not a lefty.
Yeah, there's one righty in there in Lewis, but he's also super intimidating, obviously.
Yeah.
Julian, he's kind of fallen back to earth, right? He was spectacular when he came up, and then
who Royce reminds me of? He always has like a bandana on his head, like covering his bald head. Like he reminds me of Chop, with who you never find a picture of him without
Chop
a hat.
wears a bandana?
He wears a hat. Like he played the basketball RG game with a hat. Like I will put a bounty. If anyone can get me a hatless picture of Chop, I will pay good money for it. So anybody in the Texas area wants to try to make that happen?
Oh man, I was thinking you said bandana. I thought of Prison Mike for some reason. You said bandana.
Yeah, that absolutely that's up there too. Yeah.
All right. Pitching wise, we got to get the stacks here in a second.
Yeah.
Trying to see if there's anybody we did not cover. I'm giving a refresh when it comes to ownership, seeing if anything's different. Probably get a new batch soon enough. But the paparazzi right now is they're all heading for Texas right now. 525 was the last ownership we got, so about 15 minutes ago. Do we have much umpire data? Obviously, a bunch of new series tonight, but we have right now. There are some extremes out there. Extreme hitters umpire for J.P. Sears. For Pablo Lopez, for John Gray, and for Kevin Gausman. One extreme pitchers umpire, CB Buckner. That is Stroman, the Stro Show, and Fetty. So this stuff again. I always want to put the qualifier out there. It can change. Almost likely is not going to change, but sometimes it will. The start of new series, not officially set in stone, but this is where we're at right now. Okay. You want to give me the summary as far
as did you by chance see the video with what is it, Jumbo? What's that guy who always posts?
John Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always good.
Did you see the in-depth? So like the umpire in the Mets versus it was against Burns against the O's, and the overlay on the pitches were all called strikes for the Mets down low, and the exact same pitches, all the same exact spot, all called balls against the Orioles. And so they were yelling and chirping, but he went into deep like on how it was really all Alvarez and where he was setting up and his approach to how coming from the bottom and pulling his glove up instead of going down, getting and putting up, and he wouldn't also not holding the spot for framing to just like get it up into there and then move on like you're in motion still. It was pretty incredible.
Framing is such an underrated skill, but it's so dumb that it means so much. It really shouldn't mean what it means. Yeah, but it really does matter a lot.
We should have robo.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have him in the minors right now. They're trying to figure it out how to make it work. Brandon Hyde for Baltimore he's just a hothead, man. That guy is always fired up about something. The manager he just constantly is chirping. You stick it up for his guys. All right, we do need to get to stacks momentarily. Anything else you want to touch on? You said you're going to figure it out on the show. Have we figured it out? Where we
another guy that you could go to? I would potentially consider Ben Lively.
Yeah, I saw somebody say his name in chat. I guess it's like Lively versus McGill is kind of the question, right?
I mean, I would rather McGill for sure from the strikeout upside. You're not getting the strikeout upside with Lively, but you like if McGill blows up, like there's not a lot of places to go. Lively could certainly put up a good start against Pittsburgh. 8.1 is not bad. It's not great either, but he would be the guy that we didn't really mention at all.
Yeah. 19.6% Ks in the season, pretty much split as far as the strikeouts. It's neutral. 20 versus lefties, 19 versus righties. This Pittsburgh lineup, Cruz will strike out, McKinney will strike out, but otherwise they're pretty contact heavy. 23.5% as far as striking out. Not a ton of power. Reynolds, Cruz, McCutchen. It's basically it. Grandal's shown some power this year, but I wouldn't necessarily be afraid of that.
Fun fact, Lively has 11 wins. Lively has 11 wins.
Exhibit A, why one-loss records are dumb.
Let me see his ERA, too. Yep, working with a 3.62 ERA.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm sure we can go through and find some weird one-loss records. Because it's just a lot of it's out of the player's hands, obviously. George Kirby is 9-10 on the season. There you go. There's one for you. He's an average pitcher, folks. He's 9-10.
But yeah, they lose the close games because their offense is so putrid.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, your bullpen blows games, that kind of thing. Your offense is not scoring runs for you. Those things happen. Who was the pitcher that would never get any run support? Famously, he just never got run support.
Oh, it's DeGrom.
Somebody for the Mets. It was somebody for the Mets.
DeGrom.
That's who it was. Yeah. Who, by the way, is coming back soon. Just in time for the Rangers to get eliminated for the playoffs. DeGrom's coming back, and they're saying, I think end of this homestand he might come back. He just threw a couple innings in the minors. Good for him. But what's the point to come back when the season's already over? But good for him. Don't get hurt. Anything else we should say as far as
I want to hear TJ's pool. I like when TJ gives his pool. Give us a pool in chat. Or is he coming? Is he on next?
Are you saying pool or pole? What are you saying?
Pool.
Oh, you're saying is he's pitching.
I want to hear.
Okay.
Sometimes he goes out there. He goes way off the track. I want to know who are his off the track.
Unless there was a last-second switcheroo, as far as I know, TJ's not on the next show. I believe it's Taylor, Will, and Kevin Roth. But TJ's hanging out in chat. What's up, TJ?
How are we
TJ,
doing for
hit
likes?
The like button.
How are we doing for likes?
I haven't begged or groveled, or we haven't offered any Spidey bombs.
I'm gonna offer one. I didn't get enough last, but how many likes?
We're only at 68.
Yeah,
Jesus,
it's terrible.
68 on a Friday. If we can get 200 likes, I will do a shirtless walking bets with my bets of the evening for tomorrow.
You went mute, Kirkwood. I don't know if you hit your button.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You were mute there for a second, though.
Yeah. So I'll do a shirt. I know this is gonna be a big hit. People are gonna want to see this. Shirtless walking bets. Let's go.
I'm feeling stupid now. I realize I just bet Minnesota, and on your advice, but you weren't walking when you told me to bet it. So now I feel like I made what a donkey move. My understanding is you can only trust a bet suggestion if it's delivered from somebody.
Well,
walking.
let me say this. There's a big
Is that not true?
That person Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
There was one. The plays yesterday that were given. They lost every single one. No, not yesterday. Was it not 2 days ago? Lost every single one. The plays yesterday won every single one, and there was one big difference in that video. So you should look at them and see what it was.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure what it is, but I can imagine what it was. But we do have to get.
Tell Dean the difference. Chad has to know the difference. There has to be people who know the
By the way, a good time to mention, you want to get yourself a week free of RG Premium, just join the contest in Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. It's a DraftKings contest. Does not cost you anything to play. You're making a lot up there anyway. Just click there also. No gimmicks, no shenanigans, no nonsense, no lowball. Just win the contest. You get a week free of RG Premium, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, PGA, MMA, all the sports you can think of, with the exception of NASCAR. You do it while rocking the RotoGrinders avatar. You get 2 weeks free. Or you can just go ahead and pay for it. Never better time to pay for it with football on layaway 6-7 days away. I shouldn't say football because NCAA, that has already started. Shout out to the Scores and Odds team. They put me on North Carolina last night and the under. So we hit that little parlay. That was fun. Shout out to the Tar Heels. Shout out to Minnesota, who last-second field goal missed. Despite that at home, they still shot off some fireworks. I don't know why they did that, but maybe they said they wanted to get rid of them. They were just getting a run in, but they shot off fireworks as their team lost at the last second. But, get 6 months. Commit to 6 months if you like commitment. 6 months of RG Premium, $250 right off the top, $250 off the top if you commit to 6 months. 6 months, 1 month, just want 1 month. You want a taste? 1 month, you get $40 off. Get the links in the description. And 3 days, just want 3 days. Just want to see time those 3 days right. Calculate, figure it out. Like when you sign up for those 3 days, you want to make sure you time that right. $19 and change. Speaking of football, that is our category today for tiers. We're going to do the tiers here, Kirkwood. I'm going to ask the chat. I'm going to ask you teams that are most likely, football teams, NFL teams, to win the Super Bowl. Teams that are most likely to win the Super Bowl. The big game. Can I say Super Bowl? I don't know. My apologies, Google, YouTube, Lord. Who's going to win the big game this year, Kirkwood? That is today's board. People in chat, let me know. Most likely, least likely to win the Super Bowl. What do you have, Kirkwood? Who's winning the Super Bowl this year?
Well, we're going to start from the back. You're going to have to, and everyone loves to do this because it's going to be the Pats are going to be in the back. Because first of all, the Pats live rent free in everybody's head. So people are going to just love to bash us when they're rebuilding.
Very defensive answer.
No, I just know how it goes. But you know what? I have family history connections to the Jets.
Yeah.
And
Should I have a follow-up question or should I not have a follow-up question?
No, we're not going to get into it. We're not going to
Okay.
announce what it really is. But I grew up with my uncle also telling me, because of this family connection to the Jets, that you always bet on the Jets, and they've always been the worst team in the league forever, ever since that, pretty much, except like a couple of anomaly seasons.
Yeah,
I think it's time.
He mushed them, is what you're saying.
No, they've been mushed for forever and ever. It's just funny. Like, he was like, so I've grown up being a compulsive gambler, compulsive gamblers who's actually won money, but regardless, so it's not a problem.
It's only a problem if you're losing. Yeah,
exactly. But Tim Kirkwood, current programmer, used to it's a good guess.
I thought your uncle was like Mark Gastineau or something.
Guy throws a hell of a spiral. Anyways, he's always bet on the Jets, and so it's always been in. Like, whenever they were like have a good season, they got to the playoffs, I would pound them, But I think the Jets are going to make some noise. I don't know if they don't have enough to do it. I'll take the chalk and I'll go with just Kansas City as always, because Mahomes is just on a different level. But so I'll take KC up top, and then but Jets will be my number 2.
Aaron is saying Houston plus 1,600. Fat Meat Greasy, Baltimore or Dallas. Jose is asking about Taj Bradley for cash. I don't know what site that is. Is that Yahoo?
Dallas has 0 chance.
I'm not on Dallas too. You'll see the board in a second. They have
Houston line up and coming teams. You got to like what the Lions are doing, and plus they have a good motivational coach. So. Taj Bradley is certainly in play. I tagged him for salary saver today for Yahoo.
On Yahoo.
It's a tough strikeout matchup. He's only $34. Kirby is only 40. If you really want to go heavy bats, you can do like the Taj and Kirby, or Taj and Snell, whichever you want. But like, if you really want all the bats, you can go Taj and Kirby.
Matt Attack is saying, wow, no Niners. Well, you know how it goes. We're not ranking the 4 best teams, the 4 teams that are most likely, the 5 teams that are most likely. 1 is like the elite tier, 2 is like the next tier, 3 is kind of in the middle, 4 is kind of like, I guess there's a chance, and 5 is the one that basically has no shot. Officially, I had Chicago in there in the 4 spot, and made a last second switcheroo. We wanted to tilt the Dallas fans out there, the Laker fans out there. Kansas City is the most popular team. They're still bringing back the nuts. Rice doesn't look like he's going to get
what
suspended.
A slap in the face to Steve to not have the Jets on this board.
He took umbrage with the list, and I actually am not on the Jets. I don't really see it. I know their defense is good.
I mean, they have an elite defense, and they should now finally have. If Rodgers is like even 60% Rodgers, 70% Rodgers, like it's. That they've desperately needed a QB, and they have all like Brees and Garrett Wills. They've got weapons.
They had those guys last year, but they had inept quarterback play. Obviously.
Yeah, they didn't have a quarterback. You just have to have like. It's so crazy how it's like so few people who can actually efficiently play quarterback for an NFL.
8 billion people. There's like 8 billion people in the world. There's like 12 people that can like throw.
It's like literally a handful, 2 handfuls that can even be competent. Like
it's wild. It's insane that we don't have more.
I think Ron Barlow likes the Bills. I'm shorting the Bills. I'm shorting the Bills this year.
Yeah, I don't know. They lost a lot of receivers. Obviously, I think Diggs is kind of toast for the record. It's a different conversation. He did land in a great spot, but I'm kind of out on him. Give me the long list of 31-year-olds, 30-year-olds that transfer teams, wide receivers, to transfer teams in the middle of their career and actually made an impact. It's like
Randy
2 guys.
Moss.
That's 1. It's Randy Moss and Terrell Owens. That's it. That's the list. Keep going. You got nothing else. All right. We have Kansas City up top, Baltimore second. I love McDaniel. The Dolphins are fun. I'm down here in South Florida. He just got re-signed, by the way.
The Dolphins are fun. That's for sure. The Dolphins are fun.
Speed, electric. Like I love the way they attack the game. Their defense, they don't like cold weather either. We saw that last year in the playoffs. Almost put the Lions up there. I'm a fan of the Lions. I saw people touting the Lions.
They're
also another fun team. TJ saying Anquan Bolden. We gotta check that. We gotta check that at Anquan Bolden. We gotta check the stats on Bolden transferring from Arizona to what team did he transfer to? San Fran? We gotta Google this. Tim Brown?
Amendola was electric.
Amendola, get out of town. Dallas just and of course I had to tilt you a little bit with you did anticipate New England was going to land on the board. No surprise.
They deserve it there. I mean, this is the saddest roster you'll ever see. Yeah.
Okay. We got to go. St. Louis Yankees 8.5. Stroman, Fetty. Where do you have the Yankees and the Cardinals on the stack board?
Well, to win a slate, especially when there's Orioles and Coors, what do you need? You need home runs. And what do the Yankees do? They hit the long ball at home. Yeah, they do. I mean, the numbers are just Soto and Judge are just ridiculous. Stanton's finally coming to life. A lot of it's been some good matchup, but he's coming back. Jazz is rocking and rolling. So I love that. I actually have them up top, but just because of I mean,
we'll put them up top. Steve will put them up there for you.
Yeah, I'll put them up top. It's not that. I mean, Fetty's been pretty good, but it's more about like if the Yanks are ready to unleash. So
I agree with you. I think they should be up there as well. Did you say where St. Louis goes? I'm sorry if you did. I missed it.
I mean, Stroman's average. I don't like St. Louis as a team in general. So, Steve nailed it. Put him right
that's where I'd put him as well. I did pull up Bolden, by the way. He did, played for Baltimore and San Fran. 837 yards his first game of Baltimore at 30 years old, and 887 and 921. Never more than 7 touchdowns to his last season.
Why does TJ have Bolden stats?
I just pulled him up, but that was the first guy he thought of.
But he said had over 1,000 yards 2 seasons in a row. Like what?
Yeah, but 1,000 yards, big deal. Okay, he got 1,000 yards. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
he was fine. He was fine, but he's not in the same tier as.
I mean, what is TJ talking about? What is he talking about?
He should be talking about like Ricky Williams and Warren Moon and Doug Flutie. Stick to Canadian football, TJ. All right.
CFL. He should be Steve Young. Didn't he play in the CFL at one point?
Yeah, I believe so. Marcus Allen's brother is got all the quarterback stats up there. All right. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, 8.5 is the total. Ben Lively versus Ben Falter. Bolden was fine. It was a good answer, but this doesn't at the board. Where do we have the Pirates and the Guardians? Good weather here, by the way. I do want to mention less things have changed. Let's give a refresh. Earlier in the day, you tell me, where does Cleveland and Pittsburgh go, and I'll go ahead and peek the old weather edge.
Man, I do like Cleveland here against. I think Falter's okay, but I think this Guardians lineup. I'm still waiting for Lane Thomas to break out, and I think tonight's going to be a home run.
Yeah.
So I like them in the second spot, just the tier below. I think there's a lot of upside. They like to run the bases. Pittsburgh is kind of gutless. Did you see how they blew Skeens' last start? Oh my God!
Is that the one where they gave up 7 runs to the Cubs?
Or no, there was they blew that, and then I think there was another start. I don't know if that was the same start where they give 10 runs or something like.
Well, Skeens just doesn't have the will to win. Is the thing that's on him.
Yeah. And as far as Pitt say what you want about Ben Lively and his arsenal and stuff, and the numbers don't look great, but he's been effective. And so it's not someone I really want to attack. I think, again, Pitt is always a mini stack for me anyway. It's always why play Pitt when you can just play Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz, and one more and get all the production.
You want to play IKF? You want to play Tellez? McKinney? Not really.
I mean, Tellez is someone you can play, but it's
yeah. I don't know if you mentioned Noel. He's got a ton of power, obviously.
I mean, those numbers and small sample are ridiculous. He's got a higher ISO than Awoba, which is always funny to me.
548 ISO, just 48 at bats, right? Let's not lose our minds, but that is he's been shellacking left-handed power for sure. I did mention 69 game sample, 23.9% bump in homers in that sample, 86 degrees. 69 is the due as well.
It's a nice
winds
do.
blowing out.
It's a big do.
Yeah, I bet the over in this game last night in the middle of the night because I saw the weather was popping and I don't really like either one of these pitchers a ton. And
how late?
So,
what time of night did you bet it?
3 o'clock in the morning.
You stay up. So when is that right before bed? When do you fall asleep?
Depending on like around 3:30, 4. Yeah, I was watching. I had to watch. I was going to go to sleep, but like I couldn't go to sleep when I realized there's a Gary Coleman documentary on Peacock. I had to watch that. So that's what we did before. I believe I was drafting.
Friend of the show. You know the friend of the show, Jerry Barton. You know the one that in the secret chat and whatnot.
Sure.
And,
I mean,
he's not a defender of Roth. He's the opposite. He's the one who said "eat my balls" in the chat. That Roth
okay. Maybe not a friend of the show, but go ahead, continue.
Yeah, but he gets up at 5 o'clock. He doesn't work, right? He doesn't have to get up for a job. He gets up at 5 in the morning every single day. That just blows my mind. Like
that's. I mean,
it's if you need to be up, I get it.
Does he have a dog that he has to walk?
He does have a dog, but it's not because of that.
Yeah,
craziness. But he's getting up when you're going to bed. He's gonna. And then when do you wake up, Dean? When do you wake up typically?
9:45 usually.
Well, yeah. So you don't get that much.
It depends. 6 hours. What else do we need?
6 hours. Yeah, it's tough, man.
Shannon in chat says Shannon gets up around 5 a.m. as well. Yeah, is
it for work or just for
pleasure?
Just because you like to see the sunrise and.
All right. I will be getting up really early Sundays. By the way, Sundays we have an early show like 9:30 in the morning, I believe. The time has not officially been settled, but of course, when football Sundays kick in, we're on for like 4 hours or so. We do. Speaking of time, we do need to get a move on when it comes to these stacks because we're a little bit behind on time. Of course, crunch time they're coming in 15, 20 minutes or so. Roth, Will, Taylor, whatever we don't get to, we're going to get to everything. It's pretty. We're going to breeze right through this. Oakland, Texas. We mentioned no Seager in that lineup. John Gray, pitch count concern, so kind of hard to roster him. I guess it's sort of built into to his salary. Lawrence Butler, 3 dongs yesterday. That dude is good. Like I think he's actually like a really good player. And if Oakland's like building around Butler and Rooker's like 30, so I don't know how much longer he can keep doing it. But maybe they'll have a good little team by the time they get to Vegas if that ever happens. But next year, Sacramento, you have a lot to look forward to. Sears versus Gray, Oakland and Texas. Where do you have the Athletics and the Rangers?
Oakland is not hitting. They're also in a really tough ballpark here. No, they're at home. It's
an upgrade. It's better.
I like Oakland better than I like Texas. So give me Oakland. They're still not my favorite here, but I put them in the Dolphins, and I just have no interest. I'm not going to put them in Patriots level, but I wouldn't stop you from it. But I'll put them in the Cowboys, Texas.
I'm Googling Jacob Wilson. That name just snuck up on me. Yeah, Jacob Wilson. All right. Has he played? I guess he has not played. I think he played in the KBO in 2019. Does he even have a salary? Is he 2K? Jacob Wilson for Oakland? But okay, he's playing shortstop and there's an opportunity cost, so I probably wouldn't get there, but I want to see. He's hit some homers in the minors, but
Lippy will tell us how much Jacob Wilson to play.
He's a big Oakland guy. He can run him down for sure.
Yeah.
That name definitely threw me off. But you got Oakland in Dolphins and Texas hanging out with the Cowboys. Is that where we're at?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, so Wilson has played at some point this year, but I'm trying to find his stats, and I don't really see a lot of it. At least according to producer Steve. Has he played in the KBO this year or the majors this year? Like, where has he played baseball? But I don't. Doesn't matter. We're getting sidetracked. The Mets are in Chicago. McGill, the Tyler McGill variety, taking on Jonathan Cannon. The Mets have a 5.5 total. Lindor, Nemo, Vientos, Polar Bear Alonso, Winker, JD Martinez, McNeil, Alvarez, and Bader taking on Cannon in that rough bullpen. Big time favorites here, minus 220, the Mets. Where do we have the Mets on the board, and where do we have the White Sox?
So, Cannon is like, he does have some good games. He's like hit or miss, but it never seems to last. So, like, when you watch him, you think he could be pretty good. But the Mets are an obvious spot, especially with that bullpen. So I'll put them right a tier below the Yanks and Ravens, and that's only because of ownership. If they were lower owned, I would put them up top. But they're going to get, just because of pricing and spot, they're going to get a lot of ownership tonight. And they sort of like, they have a lot of guys who could go have massive games here. I mean, I like the lineup: Lindor, Nimmo, Vientos, Alonso. You got the flirter batting fifth, Winker. They put JD down. McNeil, I think, is a great play. He never gets played enough in this, like a spot like this. He's batting seventh, kind of off the path. He's cheap. I think he could go yard. Maybe he'll be a juggalo bomb tonight. But
he's got a little bit more pop than he has in years past. Like, typically he's like a Nicky Lopez type, but a little bit better than that as far as power this year. 167 ISO. Actually the same ISO as JD Martinez, which is really surprising, versus righties this season, for what it's worth. So you threw the Mets in the second tier, and the White Sox you put in producer Steve.
I kind of like them. I like McGill. This is like boom or bust, like both sides, right? So I like that. I like both of them. McGill, I'm totally fine pitching in this spot, but because of that, because of the chalkiness and the leverage, like, I think it more mini stack maybe, but the White Sox, they're cheap. They like, Robert's been hitting. Benintendi's been coming to life a little bit. Corey Lee is a cheap catcher with pop, although he kind of stinks, but can definitely get a hold of one.
He's got homer ability. I'll punt with him if he makes stuff work.
Yeah, big guy. He's like, remember they kept batting. We didn't know like anything from Tyler Stevenson, but the Reds would like continue to roll him out batting fourth, and like now we understand, but like he just had huge guns. It's like that's Lee right there. Same concept. But Gavin freaking the sheets.
I mean, that's what you're alleging.
Well, I don't speak from experience, so
I don't know.
I'm just saying the nickname.
I don't know if that's an official nickname either. Or we're throwing him in Cowboys. I see that's where Steve has him.
I think it's just some good leverage here, so I think Dolphins. But I'm fine. Dolphins or Cowboys.
I understand if we think McGill's going to be like 25% owned, give or take, which I don't know if he is. Yeah, I'm not going to fully stack Chicago. I'm not going to play Nicky Lopez. I don't remember the last time I played Nicky Lopez. I
play him all the time. Unfortunately,
I hate playing Nicky Lopez.
So he's 2.3K.
I know. Well, and second base sometimes can stink, but he's actually a shortstop. And when he's shortstop, and it's
tough when everyone else has Bobby Witt and you're sitting there with Nicky Lopez.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Bobby Witt, the Royals are in Houston. Their team total is barely 3.22. We mentioned earlier the absence of Vinny Pasquantino, Dunzo for the year. Framber Valdez taking on Seth Lugo. Houston's big boy favorite here, minus 180. Oh, speaking of, shout out to you. If nothing else, we got closing line value. You mentioned the Twins earlier at minus 160 on the Rock. They're now minus 190. You moved the needle there, Kirkwood. So we got to. If nothing else, you might lose a pile of money.
I have nothing on it on myself yet. I missed the number. I give you the play. I give you the winners on UFC. But you know what? You're drafting our fantasy team, so it's a wash.
There you go. You
scratched my back. Look at this. Look at us, Steven.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, we're also incredibly pizza compatible.
Mushroom?
Number one pizza for me is pepperoni mushroom.
Okay. Yeah, I can work with that. Sure. I mean, pepperoni's the chalk, but like mushroom's kind of a curveball for some people.
Well, I have them both together.
Yeah, no issues. We're compatible. KC and Houston, where are we throwing them on the board?
Man, Lugo got rocked. Like, he had a bunch of hits, but like typically he's like a guy you never want to pick on. Houston has danger, so put Houston in the Dolphins. And man, what do I do with the Royals here? Framber Framberg's just too
Throw him in the
tough.
gutter, man.
There's a
Throw him in the
lot of
gutter.
leverage, but yeah, like
Throw him in the gutter.
are they really a gutter team though?
Look
Yeah.
at that lineup. I mean, you got Sal Perez, you have Bobby
Yeah.
Witt, and what's the rest?
I mean, there's upside. So there's Witt, Perez, and DeYoung has upside. Melendez
He can hit a homer. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's like just play Witt and Perez if you're gonna even play. But okay, no, I can't put Bobby Witt in the gutter. I'll put them in Cowboys, but you can veto that and put him in Patriots.
I'm giving producer Steve a veto power. So whatever Steve wants to do, he's listening to the conversation. He's got Kansas City in the Cowboys, and we will move on. 5 more games to go? About 10 minutes till crunch time comes in. By the way, shout out to Derek in chat, who's I'm eating pepperoni mushroom right now. Fried mushrooms. I've never heard that before. Is that like a deep South thing? Who fries mushrooms and throws them on a pizza?
Right. Well, I saute them. Like you saute them, you mean, or you
sure?
fry
No,
them?
he said
like
fried.
batter?
He said fried.
Like he battered them.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
We need more, but this makes sense. This is Juggalo Nation here, and he's got fine. He's got a nice nice palate, I imagine.
Fried mushroom appetizer. Okay, so wait. So that's a la carte. He's got fried mushrooms. He's doubling down on the mushrooms. He's got like standard mushroom and pepperoni pizza with a side of fried mushroom.
Maybe eating pepperoni mushroom pizza with fried mushrooms?
I don't know.
Addition, or is the fried mushrooms on the pizza?
Seems a little redundant, but hey, whatever works for you. Enjoy yourself.
He doubled down. I like his style. Double down.
I respect it. Mariners, Angels. We have this Angels guy that does not look very good, but he is taking on the Mariners, and the Mariners do strike out a ton. The Mariners are really, really cheap on FanDuel because FanDuel has like dynamic pricing as far as they're reactive to how good you've been. And like J-Rod's been bad this year, and Rosarena's been kind of disappointing. They're both like 3K, 3-1, 3K. So they're pretty interesting over there. Of course, big dumper, Kyle Rowley. And you can play him as a catcher on FanDuel, catcher first base. Where do we have the Mariners? The Angels taking on George Kirby. I don't want to pick on George Kirby. It's not a good lineup. It's 10-game slate. You tell me. Mariners, Angels.
I can't get it. Sausage and mushrooms is someone's default pizza. That's also my That's also my second. That works for me too. Those are my top 2 pizzas. All right.
Mushrooms, the constant.
Yeah. All right. So I like Seattle tonight. They're getting healthier with Crawford back. J-Rod, he homered yesterday.
About time.
Yeah, and they're also Squirrel has taught us. If you listen to Squirrel, they're much better on the road. You've got a Rosarena in there. There's a little more pop now, so I'll put them in Ravens. Definitely can fail, but I have 0. I'll put the Angels. Although Neto is a baller, man. He's going to be good. You
can throw him in the gutter. It's okay.
Let's put them in the gutter.
Yeah, hanging out with your Patriots.
Pats need some company.
Yeah.
And you know who should? It's only right if Anthony Rendon joins them down there. So
they're forcing him to play baseball today. He's batting cleanup, and he's going to strike out 3 or 4 times. What are his numbers? I want to pull him up. I want to make sure he hasn't done anything of late before I speak poorly of him. But I'm pretty sure it's been horrendous. Yeah, a 59 ISO, a 272 WOBA. It's not good. Not great, Bob. He's walked a little bit, 9.1%. So there's something. He's been patient and kind of making contact, 16.6%. But obviously a certifiable disaster there for the Angels, not just this year, but many years going forward. Dodgers taking on Arizona. Zach Gallen, just not the ace he's been historically. And we know the Dodgers are a tough offense to tangle with. Making my rankings today, I think I had Gallen as my 8th pitcher because I think pitching kind of falls out pretty quickly. Like I'm not prioritizing him. Kershaw, I'm not prioritizing either. Lefty in the mound, so that means no Jock Peterson. That means Corbin Carroll is going to be buried in the lineup there for Arizona. And the absence of Walker and Ketel Marte, it just really, really shines. This Arizona lineup is just not what you want it to be. The Dodgers, I don't think we have a lineup just yet. If it came out, I missed it. Let's see. Got the Mariners, Crawford, J-Rod, Raleigh, Arozarena, Polanco, Turner, Moore, Garver, double catcher today, and Robles batting 9th. No Dodgers lineup just yet. Maybe they're waiting on Freddie Freeman and his finger, but he's been out of the lineup the last several nights. I think we're currently projecting him in, but we'll see. Stay tuned. That would make life easier for Gallen if he doesn't throw a base, if Freeman's not playing. But either way, where do we have the Dodgers and the D-backs on the board?
Middle at best for both of these teams.
Interesting. Yeah. You just respect Gallen, and you don't want to put the Dodgers up the Ravens?
I respect Gallen. I mean, I put them in Dolphins because there's always upside to the Dodgers. They're just ridiculous lineup. But and then you got Kershaw on the other side. Although he's definitely more hittable, and everyone kind of knows when he's pitching, but I still think he has like a few master classes in him. Like, so it wouldn't shock me if he mows down this lineup. But yeah, so I would just have him in the middle.
You're not going to believe this, but I skipped a couple teams. I skipped Coors. Bad egg on my face. Albert Suarez taking on Austin Gomber. The super, super obvious, a super chalky Baltimore Orioles. So we're a 6 total taking on the Rockies. Now, left-hander in Gomber. So we already talked about the pinch hit alert when the righty comes in, inevitably out of the bullpen. Slater, very much on pinch hit alert. Rivera, McCann possibly. Rushman on that bench. We have O'Hearn on that bench. We have Mullins on that bench. Where do we have Baltimore and Colorado on the board?
I think you got to have them both top tier. I think there's going to be a lot of pissed off people at some point with some pinch hitting stuff, but it doesn't take much to get there for on the O side. So I think you got to go both right up top. I think I might even like the Rockies better.
Really?
They stink though, but I feel like they're hitting right now. They just had a nice series. They don't have to move. It's still there's no Coors hangover.
If you believe in the nonsense, like first game in Coors, so Baltimore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That this isn't the first game in Coors. Yes, I absolutely have scientific data.
No, this is their first game in Coors, Baltimore.
No, for them, but not for Colorado.
I see. Okay, for the home team, I got you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They're
if you have the data,
yeah, I have the data.
Send the data in my DMs. I want to see it.
All right.
Steve asking in chat, does Arizona ever open that roof anymore? It's closed the rest of the weekend. They're not. I mean, unless they really hate their fans, they rarely open the roof. Why would they? It's 120 there, give or take. 110, 105, dry heat. All right, 2 more games. Crunch time coming in soon. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. We want to get those Juggalo bombs. I'm going to throw Dean Dongs in the chat.
You know what?
I get out of here.
What I love to see last night, Squirrel was like you said, it's time for Squirrel's nuts, and he was throwing. He's like, I'm always thrown off. I do the show how many times, and I'm never ready.
Yeah, nobody's ever ready.
That's me, every single time. Yeah.
Are you ready for Juggalo bombs,
No,
or were you thrown off by me mentioning it right there?
I'm gonna look now, so I'm gonna be ahead of the curve tonight.
Can you multitask and look?
Yeah, so let's go. So give us a game. What game?
Well, give me this on. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. Marlins have a 2.55 team total. No lineup just for the Marlins. It's spoiler alert. They're going to be terrible.
I don't care how much. I don't care how much leverage.
What about it's leverage, man. Leverage. And that's the thing. The leverage is last start for Snell. He was a total disaster. How many hits did he give up? 0. Doesn't mean he can't give a homer.
He couldn't find his release point. He couldn't find his release point. It happens. It wasn't like he just was gone. It was just he couldn't. He had no control. But he was like Cy Young, Blake Snell right before that. So I think it's gonna be Cy Snell tonight. I think he's gonna dominate.
I think so too. But it just seems like you're not supposed to have a lock button situation here. But it's the nut.
This is like
Marlins.
This is
the
like
the worst team.
Yeah, and I know you're not gonna see it twice in a row where he just blew up against Seattle, that matchup.
By the way, good segue here. I don't mean to cut you off. I know crunch time's knocking on the door. Last game is Minnesota and Toronto. Jeremiah Johnson in chat's telling us Royce Lewis 4 for 4 in his career versus Kevin Gausman with 2 dongs. If you care for such things like batter versus pitcher data, Gausman versus Lopez 7.5 total. 2 respected pitchers. Not the greatest season by Gausman standards. Lopez still really solid. Where do we have Gausman, Lopez, the Twins, and the Blue Jays?
I mean, this Blue Jays lineup is dog water. put them down. You know what? Put them down at the bottom where they belong.
Hanging out with the
next to
Marlins.
Hanging out with my Patriots. So then I like Minnesota. I think they're going to get to Gausman tonight. I like this lineup. I think I got to put them in Ravens. Steve's right.
Literally dog water. Kevin Roth wants to know what board we're looking at. Maybe I'll ask their thoughts. This is teams that are most likely to win the big game, Kevin Roth. So come in if you're fired up, if you're a big Patriots fan or a big Cowboys fan, feel free to let me know what I got wrong. But NFL season right around the corner. 1 week, less than 1 week, right? Because Thursday we're getting NFL until the season kicks off. So I figure we do a little bit of a NFL theme today. Let's just pull this board up and kind of give the recap really quickly. There we go. Yeah, hanging out with the Chiefs is the Yankees, Baltimore, Colorado, the Ravens. As symmetrical as we can get here as far as the board. The Ravens, Cleveland, the Mets, Houston, Seattle, the Twins, the Dolphins right there in the middle with the A's, the Sox. Two teams that are rarely in the middle. Good for them for the boost. The Dodgers, Arizona, San Fran. Did San Fran get in the middle? Did you say that? Did I hear that? I never play San Fran, but
I didn't even say anything for them.
Do you want to override that? That was producer Steve. I guess we didn't get to that. Are you good with San Fran in the middle, or you want to lower them? You want to raise them?
I'm good in the middle.
All right, keep it symmetrical. Cowboys, hanging out with the Cowboys, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Texas, Kansas City, and the Angels. And we get the Patriots, your Patriots, with the Marlins and TJ's, Blue Jays. That is the board. Gimme, now you're prepared. You had time to look at the up and down as far as the potential options. Who are today's Juggalo bombs? If you say number one, that means there has to be a second one coming. Just a heads up.
All right. I am releasing the number one Juggalo bomb of the year. This is a JBOY Juggalo bomb of the year, the highest rated Juggalo bomb that's ever come. This has to hit. And you already stole my thunder. Royce Lewis was it all day. And you came in here with that BVP talk. But which I don't.
I was just reading the comment in chat. Jeremiah was pointing it out for us. I know you're a big BVP truther.
Royce Lewis. And then we're also going to go number two with that Noel guy on Cleveland.
I think his nickname is like Big Christmas or so. Somebody was telling me the other day in chat, you have to be a bopper if that's your name. I like him as well, taking on Bailey Falter. We talked about the positive hitting environment in Cleveland today as well. All right, continue with that like button. Do not go anywhere because we have Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. We have Taylor. We got Will. Let's go ahead and let's bring in crunch time. Let's go. Let's do it. Roth, I was kind enough to not pick on your Giants. I did not even their board. They did not go to the gutter. That was the honor went to the Patriots. Kirkwood's Patriots. And I was kind enough, Will. I did not pick your Panthers. So again, only one team could be in the fifth spot. Yeah, these are like the three worst teams in the league represented here, right? Carolina, the Giants, and the Patriots.
It's a sad day, a bad day.
Dog water, I tell you.
Yeah.
What is the origin of dog water? Should I know the origin story of dog water? Do I want to
dog water? It sits around like, you know what I mean. It's like the last.
I know what it is.
Yeah, it's
nasty.
You get slobber and like depending on your dog. You ever see like a lot of people have big dogs like that just slobber. So you're like in the water, you look down, you see like a outline of slobber, and that's dog water. Phil's nice. Phil keeps it clean. But
I know in New York they sell dirty water dogs. Is that the same kind of water, or is that different water?
No, not that kind of dog water. Different kinds of dog water.
Taylor, who's your team? You've got to bounce around, right? Do you have an official NFL team?
I grew up in Houston, so I claim the Texans proudly for the first time ever, maybe this year.
It's a good time to be you. What a time!
Yeah,
what a year!
What
a time!
Were you young enough to be an Oilers fan?
I did go to one Oilers game. They played Miami. Saw Dan Marino left at halftime.
Warren Moon.
Was this in the Astrodome?
It was in the Astrodome. Might have been Steve McNair back then. I'm not sure if that was
Steve McNair.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, just watch the documentary on Netflix.
Oh, was it good?
It felt rushed, like incomplete. Like it felt like it was like due. You know how you have like a book report and like 2 hours and you haven't read the book just yet. It was interesting, but it kind of ended abruptly. I would say it's worth watching, but it felt.
I have to give a review. I watched the Adam Sandler stand-up. Anyone watch that on Netflix?
No,
I did not.
Brand new.
Mm-mm.
It's brand new. Awesome.
Ah, good. He's funny. He's still funny. He's always been funny, even though he gets some hate. Like I like him. Hey, Dean.
You'll love it.
Dean, can I complain about your ranking of where the Cowboys were?
Sure.
I feel like that's too low. That almost implies no shot. They have the actual good quarterback. Like Dak is a legitimately good quarterback, which half the teams in the NFL cannot claim that. Those are the teams.
I just recorded this, so the next weather update.
Is there bad blood here?
I can't use this till after the season. I can't use this till after the season. You got some time. It's gonna be stored away.
No, Dak is like legitimately good. I don't think the Cowboys are out of it by any means.
So they probably have the worst running backs in the league, possibly. As
Who gives a shit?
I know. Yeah,
running backs.
I shouldn't start with that, but you're right. You're right. Running backs don't really matter.
I'm hearing Zeke is back. I'm hearing this is the best Zeke has ever looked.
No, it's not. I can't believe they're still rolling him out there. Like, what are we doing at this point? It's nonsense.
They're going to bring him in. They'll bring him in at the 2 or 3 yard line.
Uh-huh.
He'll get his touchdown. He'll go hop in the Salvation Army kettle. He'll go back to the bench. It's very simple, people. It's very simple. But listen, so seriously though, like Zeke did grade out pretty well in his pass protection. Like for what it's worth, like as much as you want to like drag him, like his pass protection was graded pretty well. So that may in fact help them. We'll see.
How pumped is everybody for football? Like this is.
I'm pretty pumped.
I bet on North Carolina last night. I won by a missed field goal. I was like, yes, this is now we're in football mode. Like,
yeah. I referenced that earlier. I got the pick from shout out to Scores and Odds that they had North Carolina and they had the under, so we hit both in that game. But the answer to your question, Roth, is I think quarterbacks aside, like I think Lamb. If you think of one player on one team that would hurt his team the most if he got injured. Dallas has such a lack of depth. If Lamb something happened to Lamb, we're looking at like Brandon Cooks as the one. I think the whole offense might.
Brandon Cooks is 2 seasons away from 1,000-yard season. He went to the Cowboys and died. But like if he wasn't there, he probably would have had another. Like,
but like
his problem has been Brandon Cooks' problem has been concussions. It hasn't been production. Concussions was his issue.
I just think that like I'm trying to think of skill position players, just any player in general.
Cooks has to be dust, no?
Who's this?
Cooks has to be dust now, no?
I think he's dusty. Yeah, I've been drafting a little bit in best ball just because of opportunity. He's going to be on the field, but I'm not really convinced he has much left at this point. And again, their depth after Lamb, we're talking about like Jalen Tolbert will be their wide receiver too, I suppose. I think Ferguson's fine as a tight end, but I just think that their offense would take a significant hit. So, and also I thought it'd be fun, Roth, just to troll the people like Dallas.
That's fair. Yeah,
that was the other part of
it.
I was just trolling Dallas fans, really. But I do think it can get really, really bad if something happens to Lamb. But I do agree with you. I think Dak is better than some people give him credit for. But anything else?
Better than most quarterbacks. I don't know why we drag Dak so much because he's in a Dallas Cowboys uniform. I'll put it to you like this: if Dak played for, what's your favorite team, Dean?
I don't have one, so that's perfect. I have no biases.
Yeah, but I mean, most teams in the NFL would take Dak over most quarterbacks. Yeah, like, but because he plays for the Cowboys and they win 10 to 12 games a year and don't close the deal, like we're writing him off or totally overlooking his real ability. Like we just can't do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
like Russell Wilson has a job with the Steelers. You don't think they prefer Dak Prescott over Russell Wilson? Like, come on now. Like, that's not
Wait, Dean, why don't you have the Dolphins? Why don't you just claim them?
I grew up disliking the Dolphins for whatever reason. Growing up in South Florida, I asked Taylor. I was a Houston Oilers fan as a child. I loved watching Houston. I liked Warren Moon. I liked the run and shoot. I thought they were a lot of fun. Little Haywood Jeffries, little Curtis Duncan, little Ernest Givens, little Ray Childress. We'll stop it right there. Alonzo Highsmith. But Boa McDowell, just a fun team to watch. I enjoy their uniforms are spectacular. I don't know if Tennessee is going to keep rolling out those old Houston powder blues, but they are amazing. They should keep wearing those going forward. They wore the throwbacks.
They should not be
last
the
season.
one that gets to wear them. Like, I get that they're the Oilers, but it's kind of a crime.
That's the dispute.
Tennessee
Yeah.
wearing them.
I was
That
a
is-
fun
that
fact.
is-
I was a Bengals fan as a kid. I loved the Icky Shuffle and all that.
Not fun. Facts, maybe. Not fun.
Random fact.
Trying to- All right, we're out. Juggalo Nation has to get Yahoo line
Jug Nation, stand up.
in 12 minutes.
Let's get out of here. Roth, take it away.
Right,
Happy
Chief.
Friday.
Chief, take it away, Jug Nation, Chief.
Jug Nation, stand up.
Represent the passing the torch from one jug to another. What's up, guys? Welcome to it. It is crunch time. You know the drill. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz. And yes, oh, that's nice right there. There it is. And yes, I see you in chat saying Dak sucks because he's not clutch. I don't even think that's true. He does have a history of that happening, but I think that's just luck. I think that's just the way things shake out. Like, I don't think he is necessarily not clutch. Many people would argue clutch is not even a thing. Taylor, is he not clutch? Do you disagree with me?
I don't think clutch is really a thing, so I'm in that camp.
Wait, you're with me or you're against me?
I didn't hear your take. I just said that I don't think clutch is really a thing. So
That's essentially what I was saying. Yeah, that's basically what I was saying. He's just, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's how it's been. How many Super Bowls you get? Okay, hey, we got to move on. We got to talk baseball, but that's my final take on the Cowgirls. We got Chief in the house. What up, Chief? How are you, man?
Doing good, man. I'm actually going to watch my son play some football after this show, so it's a good time to be alive. Great time.
Nice.
you said
That edge-
you said
that
last
edge
week
rush?
if he got like three sacks, he could be wide receiver
Yeah.
or something. Did
He
did
can
get
play
there?
running back. He only got one. He got one.
Gotta
But
triple.
listen, the
Those are
deal with
rookie
the
numbers.
coach
Got to
three,
pump that up.
You got to get three,
Yeah.
and they'll let him play running back.
Does the
For
deal
one
still
game.
stand if he gets
Oh,
three
yeah,
sacks
yeah.
at any
The
game?
deal is
Okay.
all good because they know he
Okay.
can't. Yeah.
I like it.
Ongoing.
And then, very good. We got Taylor in the house as well. Taylor, how are you?
I'm well. Going on vacation tomorrow, so I'm excited to dip for a week and should go out with a bang tonight.
You gonna share the location with us or no?
I'm going to Colorado to escape the heat for 7 days. Should be nice.
Nice. That sounds lovely. Enjoy. And don't talk to me about the heat. You're in freaking. Is it what? Oh, did it get 85 today? You're from
I think it's
Houston.
81.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
talk to me about heat. You're from where I'm at right now. You know what heat is, bud.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, let's dive into the slate. Weather-wise, I don't think there's a single spot where you should do anything other than what you were already planning on doing. That doesn't mean there's not a few spots where you could see a delay, but I think the overall probability of seeing the delay is so low that you just do whatever you were planning on doing. Maybe the only exception to that is in the games that start soon, which are not on the slate, if you're thinking about a pitcher in Detroit. That's maybe the only exception to do whatever you want. And that's it. I'm out of the way with weather now, and we'll just kind of dive into the slate. Taylor, if you wouldn't mind leading me off, talking about play what you want. That was high up there. I went above Blender's pitch. Taylor, what are we doing here pitcher-wise? What do you like?
Yeah, so we have a very obvious Blake Snell situation at home against Miami. I know the Blake Snell rule is kind of like the Robbie Ray rule, where you fade him if he's chalk and play him if he's not. On this slate, he's going to be chalk, and I'm going to play him, and I think most people will. It's just hard to get from him in this spot. It's the worst, probably the worst offense in the league. So he's not that expensive really either, so I'm just doing it even in tournaments. Beyond that, it's not that clear. There are quite a few good pitchers in suboptimal matchups and a mediocre pitcher in a good matchup. The mediocre pitcher in a good spot is Tyler McGill for the Mets going against the White Sox. I think he's probably your SP2 on DK if you're playing cash. But there are a few others kind of in the more expensive mid-range that you can play in tournaments. Framber Valdez being one. Most on my radar, I think Pablo Lopez is going to be somewhat popular against Toronto, and Kevin Gausman maybe to a lesser extent in the same game against Minnesota. George Kirby also against the Angels is probably worth a look because it's a good spot, even though they're getting a part downgrade. that's really it. I think you can play John in tournaments on DK. He limited to around 70 pitches, only threw 2 innings in his last game, but I think that's probably because he got rocked. He threw like 50-something pitches, so should be okay to throw a little more than that, assuming he doesn't get nuked, and they're playing Oakland at home, so it's a good spot. But it's still in a tier of his own, and then several other guys you can throw into tier 2.
Okay. Chief, are you going Snell and Miguel? Is that what you do in tournaments, and you just kind of play the good dudes, or no, you got other plans?
Listen, I got a real tight pool tonight. I don't have anybody under JP Sears. I'm not comfortable with this pitching slate as a whole. So I've got plenty of Snell, some Kirby, probably a much larger amount of Valdez in the field. Looks like the field's going to be around 30%. I'm going to be pushing about 40 on Valdez. Have Ben Lively. I don't particularly like Ben Lively, but I just think this matchup with Pittsburgh he could reveal some upside here. A pretty low ISO team with some strikeout upside. Now, once again, I don't think he gets out of this game clean, but I think he can get through 6 today. I did write him up on Scores and Odds. He's gone 6 innings and I think 3 of the last 5, and some of those were against good teams. I'm really just hoping for Babbitt to be in my favor on this one, Roth. Like, I don't think Lively is elite, but I do think this is a good spot for him against a weak Tigers lineup, generally speaking. I've got some JP Sears just in case, he's back to pitching well. He kind of had a blip on the radar. He had a really good stretch there, and then kind of got shellacked his last outing. Texas hasn't been as good against lefties overall this season. So I'm hoping that we can take advantage of that. And then, the Arizona lineup is just a little bit more watered down. Kershaw's pitches have been picking up. So maybe Kershaw gets to 90 pitches tonight. He's 8,500. But most of my exposure, Ross, Snell, Kirby, Valdez. And that's all my pitches. I'm not playing Lugo. I'm not playing Gausman. I'm not playing
what about Miguel? Miguel. He's got 4 tags. He's damn near got the rainbow, Chief. He's 7'4". He's projected for 15 points. What don't you like there?
It's sometimes I end up on these islands by myself, and that's the beauty of DFS. I don't have to see it how everybody else sees it. And while I understand this spot against the White Sox is, should be good, I just don't like Tyler McGill. I mean, he's got some strikeout stuff here, and he probably will pick up some strikeouts, Raw. But I mean, he's given up a fair amount of hard contact overall. Like, it's not like he's got some elite ground ball rate. And then over the past 30 days, the ISO has picked up to lefties. And a small sample size, I know, but I don't trust Tyler McGill here. I don't think he's as good of a play as everybody else does. And I'll just have to down that hill by myself tonight.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Like you said, that is the beauty of DFS is you get to stand there and say, this is my take and I'm sticking to it. Real quick, let's talk about FanDuel, just in case there's any significant pricing differences there. Chief, as you look at FanDuel, is there a clear cash play or a tournament guy that you love?
Well, I mean, in terms of tournaments, I'm still of the mindset that even though he's very expensive, Blake Snell is the guy. Like, facing Miami, there's just so much strikeout upside. Now, you're talking about going out. So if I had to choose between Snell and Valdez, obviously I'm going to go Snell tonight for 200 more on FanDuel, one pitcher site. Still the same situation, not playing Lopez, not playing Gausman, not playing Lugo. I do think Kirby is very interesting on FanDuel for 9,400. But yeah, I'm not really playing anybody cheap. Kershaw, well, I guess Kershaw is considered cheap at 7,700. Lively's 81. But like, if I'm on FanDuel, I think Snell, I think Valdez, I think Kirby, and I just let it ride from there. Yeah.
Taylor, any other thoughts there as you look at, by the way, Freeman is in for what it's worth. That's what the FWIW means. Taylor, as you look at FanDuel, is there like a clear, this is the cash option or any hot tournament takes that you have?
It's definitely Snell still. He's pricey, but the spot's too good to ignore. If you want to go all the way down the turn, I do think you can play John Gray over here at 6'4", because he's almost as cheap as you can get on FanDuel for a pitcher, and it's an okay enough spot. Definitely only a tournament thing, though. In cash, it's Snell, and you move right along.
Okay, well then let's move right along ourselves and talk about some of the bats and the stacks. And Chief, you get to lead us off in that department, my man. What are you stacking up?
So, I mentioned I wasn't playing Gausman, wasn't playing Lopez. I have a lot more interest in the Twins offense than I do the Blue Jays, though, for what it's worth. I just think Lopez's upside is limited, and I think the Blue Jays' upside is limited. I think the Minnesota Twins' upside is unlimited when it comes to Kevin Gausman. Strikeout rate hasn't been anything near where it's been, and the Twins have been one of the teams I've stacked all season. They continue to stay cheap, Roth. They continue to hit for power, and people just don't play them, and they score 10 runs every day. 10 runs every day is an exaggeration, but I think they've scored double-digit runs more than anybody else in Major League Baseball. You can look that up to make sure I am correct, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. I have some interest in the Mets, obviously. I do feel like Coors is going to get a lot of ownership tonight, as they should. But I do think the Mets here against Cannon are really interesting. I think they've got enough balance between cheap bats and expensive bats to make this really work. Also like the Guardians against Falter, kind of off the beaten path. I don't think people will play them tonight, but I like them. And I'm shocked that the Yankees aren't getting as much ownership as I thought they would against Fetty here. Probably because they maybe feel a little overpriced in a couple spots, but Judge is expensive on DraftKings, and I get it. I'm not thrilled about Judge tonight, but Soto, Torres, Wells, Volpe, any of these other guys, I'm in. And those are some of my main stacks that I'm playing tonight. So just to sum that up, Minnesota, one of my favorites, price with upside. I do like Houston. Love the Mets in terms of possible spend ups. Love the Guardians off the beaten path. Nobody wants to play them against Falter. And then like the Yankees, against Fetty.
Okay, good stuff. Taylor, I want to bring you in. I kind of assumed Baltimore would be the chalk because they're in Colorado.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're the chalk.
And they're good. They're the chalk? Okay. Taylor, what else do you like outside of maybe Baltimore, if you like them, or maybe you don't?
I do. I mean, I like them, but there is some risk with some of them. They're facing a lefty, and they do have a few righties in the lineup that could turn into lefties later in the game. So I'm a little bit nervous about someone like Eloy Jimenez or Emmanuel Rivera or James McKay or Austin Slater, I meant to say, at the top of the lineup. They should be pretty popular because they're cheap, those three in particular. So I'll still put them in stacks. They're probably go overowned in the risk they have. I think the other chalk team is going to be the Mets in Chicago against Jonathan Cannon. No problem with that. Cannon's been really bad, particularly against lefties. He's been a bit more respectable against righties. So Mets lefties, Lindor, Nimmo, Jesse Winker's in the lineup. I think they look good. And then I think the third team that could be popular, maybe less so, is Seattle, going into Anaheim to face Alda Gary, a rookie making his debut. He's a lefty. It's a good park upgrade for them. Pretty good righty power now between Arozarena, Cal Raleigh, Jorge Polanco, Justin Turner even. I don't mind Mitch Haniger as a cheapie either. A team I'm getting to a lot, I mentioned Gray being playable because he's cheap, but Oakland going against him. They get a park upgrade going into Texas. They're also affordable. They have decent power. Gray's just really been not great all season. So Oakland has a lower owned stack. I think looks interesting. And I'm getting to some Toronto against Lopez because they're pretty cheap also. Don't love it. I think they were a dog water stack on the last show, but for the salaries and for some leverage against Lopez, I think they're okay. Okay.
Gentlemen, I think it's time to go position by position and walk through what we're seeing. Let's start with catcher, and Taylor, you can lead us off in that.
Yeah, so we don't have Adley Rutschman for Baltimore. It's James Mann instead. I think he's okay as a punt. Big dumper, obviously going to be great for Seattle. Shea Langelier, a classic favorite at the catcher spot, also standing out to me on this slate. Otherwise, it's kind of just guys in stack. Alejandro Kirk, Patrick Bailey. I didn't mention the Giants, but they are in an okay spot in their mediocre home park. Yeah, Tony Grandal. I think the Pirates are a little bit okay as a cheap stat going into Cleveland. And then Logan O'Hoppe, kind of just a one-off against Kirby.
Okay. Chief, any names you want to add there at catcher?
I do like Alvarez quite a bit. I know he's in the 8 hole, but I like him. Austin Hedges, like, look, man, it's a 9-hole hitter, Roth. He's 2K. 2K catcher, sign me up. So really like him. Want to throw those couple names in there.
Okay. How about first base?
Yeah, first base is going to be really interesting tonight because you got Ohtani up here also. And I don't feel like we can do a show without mentioning Ohtani if he's on the slate. Roth, he's 7K. Judge is 7,200. We're paying pitcher prices for hitters. I can't do it. So I'm not playing Ohtani today at 7K, although I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was an important point. Obviously, Pete Alonso at 5K, fine. Josh Naylor, lefty. Once again, I don't think these Cleveland guys are getting much ownership. But at 4,700, I am perfectly fine running Josh Naylor, and I'm trying not to go like information overload. But like Naylor still has a 19% K rating and 168 ISO against left-handed pitching, raw. So it's not like he's falling off of a cliff, facing a lefty. I mean, he's better against righties, but against lefties, he's still making good contact, still has enough power. So really like him. I'm going to mention Alec Burleson. I know you can get him in the outfield. You can get him at first base as well. But I think some of these, lefties against Stroman will be fine. Also, you can also get JD Martinez at first base or outfield. I'd probably run him outfield because you can only get Alonso at first base, but he's there, so I want to mention him. Ben Rice, obviously, I know he's batting 8th, but I like the Yankees against Fetty. I'm fine with Goldschmidt. I didn't mention St. Louis in terms of some of my main stats, but I do think it's an alternate stat, Raw, meaning 4 or less bats for me. That's my alternate stats. Mm-hmm. I think you can play some of these guys. I think they're just a little bit too cheap for a good hitting spot versus Stroman. And then David Fry, I really hate that we don't have multi-position eligibility on him. I think I'd play Fry over Naylor tonight if I had to straight up, Raw, because you're getting so much savings. But I also, once again, just want to mention Naylor is fine against lefties. You don't have to leave him out.
Okay. Also, you mentioned Ohtani. I need to take my victory lap. When it was Ohtani bobblehead night, which was maybe yesterday, maybe the day before, I said a blast. He's hitting a home run and he's swiping a bag, and he hit a home run. And I think he had 2 steals that night. That doesn't do anything for us tonight. I just wanted to brag about it. That's all. Taylor, you're up first base. What are you doing?
I saw that some of those Ohtani baubles were going on eBay for like $20,000 the other night.
I want to see what they're actually selling for. I mean,
yeah,
I saw people were lining up at like 4 a.m. to make sure they were there, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Largely agree with Chief. A few cheapies I kind of like are Seth Brown for Oakland and Justin Turner for Seattle. Pete Alonso, I have to do the most, even though Cannon, like I said, has been better against righties. Vlad Jr. is kind of the one Blue Jay you feel okay about. Pricey, but he's been good for quite a while now. Spencer Horwitz, you can also play here, probably playing him at second if you want to play him at all. Dodgers are a little interesting beyond Freeman. I mean, beyond Ohtani, there is Freeman in the lineup, like we said. And I think Andrew Vaughn is an okay punt. Chicago against McGill. Not a fun stack. They're cheap, so it's useful.
Okay, take me to second base.
Second base, another Blue Jay, Will Wagner, still cheap. Decent lineup spot for him. Lefty against Lopez, I think is fine, even as a one-off. Jeff McNeil looks like the chalk here as lefty against Cannon. He's cheap. Second base, outfield eligible. I think he's better at second. Jorge Polanco, I mentioned Seattle. He stands out here a bit. Marcus Semien, Texas against Sears. The righties, Sears has always been a home run fly ball lefty, so Texas righties, Semien, Garcia, guys like that are going to look pretty good. He's pricey, but not a great position. And then I think Gavin Lux, as one of the few affordable Dodgers, is playable kind of as a pivot away from what should be a more popular Jackson Holiday.
Okay. Chief nodding in agreement on many of those plays. What are your thoughts there at second, Chief?
Yeah, love those calls. And let me just say, Roth, I want to clear this up so that way I don't have to get these questions as we progress through. I'm not really talking about Baltimore and Colorado people because they're in Coors, and I feel like those are like obvious plays. If you want to play them clearly, right, they're fine. So that's why I'm just, if you don't hear me not mentioning that, guys, that's why. Like clear and obvious stuff. All right. Okay. I am going to mention Donovan. I know I'm talking about St. Louis in the previous on first base, but also think on second base as well. Donovan at 3,600, batting cleanup in the 4-hole tonight. I think that could really work out well. Gleyber Torres leading off against Fetty at 4,400. I think that's a great play also. And then last but not least, Jeff McNeil batting the 7th spot, but I do think that the Mets are a good stack tonight. And so even though he's in that 7th hole, I think he'll have some opportunities for some guys to be on base ahead of him, and he should be able to drive in some runs. So like him also.
Okay, how about third base, Chief?
Yeah, Jose Ramirez is at the top, and I think he's at the top for a reason. Once again, I do really like Cleveland tonight against Bailey, Falter. He's not quite 7K, Roth. He's 6,500. That $500 goes a long way when you're trying to build quality lineup. So definitely want to play him. I've heard some talk about Royce Lewis and his BVP against Gausman, possibly. I'm just playing Royce Lewis because I like the Minnesota Twins tonight. So he's another big spin. As we get down to the middle here, or under 5K rather, Mark Vientos batting third. He's been really good, just cruising and pretty much churning out fantasy points. Feels like every slate. Really like him. You've got Miranda here at 4K. You know, if you want to play him at third, he's batting the 6th hole. You've got Nolan Arenado at 3,900. Once again, I haven't heard a lot of people mention St. Louis, but 3,900, I talked about them being an alternate stack. You can get a bunch of 3 and 4 mans for less than 12K in salary, Roth. You can pile up on the 3K bats on the opposite side of those expensive ones. That's why I keep mentioning St. Louis. I just think they're a perfect stack to get that done tonight, and I will close it out there.
Okay, good spot to close it out. Taylor, your thoughts at third?
So the Orioles have 2 guys here. You can play Ramon Urias and Emmanuel Rivera. I think Urias would be the one I'd be more comfortable playing. I feel like he's less likely to get pinch hit for, and he's the more expensive of the 2. So if more people are flocking to Rivera, I think Urias is just a straight up better play. Not that he's going to be under the radar either, for what it's worth. Love the Vientos call. Josh Young, someone I'm to a bunch of Rangers righties. He fits the category. Lewis always worth a shout, even if you're not stacking Minnesota. And Dylan Moore, I think, is okay. One of those Seattle righties against the Angels rookie lefty.
Okay, good stuff. How about shortstop?
Shortstop. So I think Lindor is going to be the chalk. I think it's pretty good chalk. Gunnar Henderson, almost 7K. Lefty. That might keep his ownership down a little bit in Coors. Dylan Moore, you can also play here. Mention him at third. JP Crawford, another lefty shortstop leading off for Seattle. I think that's fine. I don't think the rookie's going to pitch super deep into the game anyway. Tommy Edman was like major chalk last night. I don't think he's going to be owned at all tonight. Switch hitter for LA, multi-position eligibility. He's cheap. Outfield shortstop. Don't mind that. Kind of like O'Neal Cruz against Ben Lively in that Cleveland game with hitting winner. And Leo Jimenez is cheap Blue Jay at this position, so I guess I'll mention him too.
Okay, Chief, your thoughts at short?
I see that, and I raise you, kind sir. I will throw in Willie Castro and Mason Wynn. Those are 2 guys in the mid-range that I really like. Once again, I think these are better spots than what it looks like on paper for these guys, and so I am in. Also, going to mention Jeremy Pena too. Part of if you end up playing some Houston, I just think Lugo isn't going to have enough strikeout stuff for this team. I think they get the bat on the ball and score some runs here.
Okay, go to the outfield.
Yep, my favorite outfielder, Juan Soto, 6,600. I think this is a great spot for him to just continue to churn fantasy points. And I feel like Soto always gets it done when nobody's on him. Like tonight, Ross, I think we've got to project for around 5%, somewhere up in there. This is the night. 2 home runs, 2 stolen bases, and hits for the cycle. I'm kidding that he would need like 40 at bats for that. But I do think like this I think it's a good spot for him. Hot take: Juan Soto hits a home run at his first at bat, not first pitch, first at bat. That's my hot take for the night. I'm going to go down here. So Mookie to me is interesting. I'm covering the high end guys. Mookie's interesting at 6K because I feel like people just aren't going to play the Dodgers as much tonight, and I'm not either. But I think Mookie's got this type of upside, like the Ohtani's, like the Sotos, where he could hit, get a single, steal a base, somebody drives him home, and then replicate that over the course of 2 or 3 more at bats. So I'm always interested in Mookie. Do think Yordan Alvarez has a shot at hitting a home run tonight as well. As we get down to the middle here, I talked about Cleveland. I will be playing some Stephen Kwan just because I think nobody's playing Cleveland tonight, and I think it's a good spot for them. I mentioned JD Martinez at first. You can also get him in the outfield. I definitely think you play him more in the outfield. Brandon Nimmo here, batting the 2-hole, 4,200. I think it's a great spot for him. JJ Bleday against John Gray at 4,200, batting the 3-hole. I think it's a good spot for him. You got Butler leading off at 4K. You got Varsho leading off against Lopez. You've got Lane Thomas batting the 2-hole against Falter. Love this spot for him also. Jesse Winker in the 5-hole for 3,400. Once again, a lot of these guys are going to be in my stacks, but I just think this is a good spot. Lars Nootbaar, 6-hole, 3,200. You see you get my point here, bro. There's so many mid to lower outfielders tonight, which is why I'm not cheating on pitching. I know we're not talking about pitching, but this is why I'm not cheating. Yeah. There are too many 3 and 4K guys that are just quality spots that you can play and have really good lineups.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. Taylor, your thoughts in the outfield?
Yeah, Chiefs stole my thunder with those Mets and those A's and pretty much everybody else. But I'll mention
they're also cheap though, right, Taylor? They're just too cheap.
They are, yeah. Oakland, the Mets, and you got those cheap Orioles if you want. Also, the Rangers, like I said, Adolis Garcia, Robbie Grossman, pretty good in advantage against the lefty there. The Seattle bats, Rosarena, Julio Rodriguez, and Victor Robles stand out. I think Luis Robert is an okay one-off if you don't want to stack the White Sox. Don't blame you at all. And then the Giants, Ramos, Mike Strzemski are okay. Never love that stack for the lack of power, especially at home. But on this slate, I'm getting to them a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, Rob, I meant to mention one more thing in the outfield. Yep, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. The Minnesota Twins outfielders are also in our cheap bucket. All of them, I think, are 3K, in that 3K range. Just fantastic price.
Okay. Add it to the list. Guys, we have, I don't know, is it 10 or 15 minutes here until lock? I will look that up. In the meantime, less than 10 minutes. Shout out to the Yankees for keeping that 5 after start time. Love that. Let's discuss what we're doing here. The people want some bomb calls. That is their favorite thing. And Chief, you are a bomb giver. So take a moment, think about some bombs. In the meantime, everybody out there, sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. NFL Premium for the season is now available. Non-premium users can get $100 off their NFL Premium subscriptions. All you have to do is click through the banner on RG. All the competition, all the other sites out there, dog water. Don't trust them. You can also get yourself a 6-month combo subscription, exclusive price $469.99. That'll save you $250 as opposed to buying 6 individual months of combo premium. If you're not a fan of commitment, 1 month of RG combo premium is $120. Or if you just want to test run 3-day pass, $19.99. That is so outrageously reasonable. 3-day pass, $19.99. If you're not doing anything else, at least check that one out. With that out of the way, some home run calls. Chief, you got Soto. I know you got Soto going yard.
Yes, you already knew that. Soto number 1 in that same game, going Alec Burleson in that same game. As we head out to head to Cleveland. We've got David Fry on the cheap end, Jose Ramirez on the top end. Okay, Jose Ramirez on the top end, and then as we head out to Minnesota. I know everybody loves Royce Lewis here, and this guy is probably going to strike out once or twice. But Matt Wallner is sitting here with a 345 ISO against Kevin Gausman. And that's too much power to pass up. And I'm sure his odds are probably fairly good on the sports book if you can get him. So Matt Wallner may strike out twice, but I think a home run could be in the air.
Wow. 5 bomb calls. And Eric Johnson at the same time said Matt Wallner to homer, just as you were saying it. So there, and I saw Taylor smile a little bit as you were bringing him up. Perhaps he was on Taylor's list as well.
Yeah, he was.
Yay.
I thought I was
Love
kind
that.
of sneaky there, but obviously not. Yeah, so I got to pivot. I think I'll take O'Neal Cruz on the high end. Let's see, look for a rando. Josh Young, I mentioned being on him a little bit. I think that's a good spot for him. And then going down a bit further, let's say John Noel.
Could you say that one more time for me?
John Kenzie Noel for Cleveland.
There you go. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. Jumping in the Discord. By the way, if you have not hit, get that Friday smile going. If you haven't hit the thumbs up for us, please do. We're trying to keep the show free. We want to reach the masses. We want to get millions of viewers a night, and we can't do that unless you hit the thumbs up button for us. So make sure you are hitting our thumbs up. In the meantime, the question is, tonight, is it the Gausman pitching or the Gauss can? Taylor, Gausman or Gauss can? You get what he's saying.
I hope it's the Gausman because I have a bit more of him than I do of the Twins, but I don't feel very good about it.
Okay, that's fair. Chief, I'm coming to you from D-Rock. He says DKGPP Fry Lively. That sounds pretty good. Or Naylor McGill. That doesn't sound bad either.
It's going to be Fried Lively for me. I don't like McGill. So I'm the wrong person to ask, but also the right person to ask. I'm the only person that's going to tell you Noah McGill today, it seems.
True. Okay. We'll go to D-Dot's question, which is, Chief, right back to you here. FanDuel single entry, Noel or Burleson?
Ooh, I like them both. Noel's been great. I'm going Burleson because I think he hits a home run.
Okay. Am I yelling? Am I unnecessarily projecting? Am I yelling, Taylor?
No, I think you sound fantastic.
Oh, thanks. You sound like shit because your mic sucks, but that's okay. We can still hear you. DKGPP, Taylor, you want Santana Lewis or Freeman Betts?
Freeman Betts.
Okay. What else do we have? FanDuel Cash, Taylor from NBA DFS, McNeil or B. Rogers?
Sorry, my bad. Sorry, Taylor.
No, I think it is McNeil.
Okay. Let's go over to Chief. What else do we have here? Jib says FanDuel last man in. My boy Arozarena or Julio? Chief?
Ooh, buddy. Arozarena.
Okay.
A little bit more power, a little lower strikeout rate.
I like that. Shout out to Musa, who says, it's nice to not get extorted for likes for a change. Big like coming your way. You know, you do what you got to do. I just ask kindly sometimes. Sometimes I threaten you and say, the show will not go on if we don't get likes. Sometimes we promise you little treats like a home run. We mix it up. You never know. You never know which route we're going to get. But usually the Spidey bombs do get a lot of likes. So no hate on asking for likes and giving out plays for them. What else do we have? Favorite catcher? Taylor's mic is already on vacation, Dean says. It might be his internet. I don't know. It's not, honestly, Taylor, it's not too bad. Just so you're aware. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay.
Favorite catcher,
I feel like it's
Taylor?
internet too, but
yeah. You think it's mine? Is that what you said?
no, mine. See, mine sucks so much you couldn't even hear that. So
yeah, that's pretty much what's happening. Razzle Dazzle says favorite catcher, DK single entry Taylor, 3,400 or less. Is it Bangaliers? Is he 3,400 or less?
he is not. I think it's Kirk for me.
Okay. Eric Johnson says Cal Raleigh, favorite catcher. Well, yeah. Well, duh. Big Dumper is always our favorite catcher. Let's see, Taylor, back to you here. I'm playing 3 lineups in a DK large field tournament. I have Adam Aller in all 3 lineups, Am I basically lighting my entry fees on fire?
Yeah, I don't really see the need to be all in on Adam Aller. So perhaps reconsider.
Okay, you can keep some Aller, and just maybe not all the Aller.
Maybe
it's an aggressive.
one, maybe one.
Yeah. Okay, maybe one Aller. FanDuel single entry, Chief. This one's for you. I've got J-Rod and Randy Arozarena in the outfield, along with Ohtani as a one-off. I really like Wallner. Who would you replace him with? Because I also have Twins in this lineup to complete a stack. Did you understand that? It broke my mind.
Are we trying to replace Wallner?
I think you're trying to. I think he's trying to put Wallner in instead of one of J-Rod, Randy, or Ohtani.
They got J-Rod. I mean, honestly, take out Ohtani, and then you might be able to upgrade to another big bat somewhere else. But that's what I would do if that's what you're saying.
Yep. Okay. We're less than a minute until lock, guys. Make sure you get those lineups in. Better mini stack in a FanDuel single entry, Chief, Cleveland or Oaktown?
Oh man, that was tough for me. I'm a little bit higher on Cleveland than I am Oakland, but I do think Gray gets his face punched in because I don't think he goes deep enough into the game. But I'm going to go Cleveland against Fulton.
Okay. All right. Taylor, we've got seconds until lock. How comfortable would you be, sir? FanDuel single entry going with Sears as your pitcher.
Ooh.
Not comfortable at all, but
Wallner.
he's not bad. It's just the slate is not ideal for that.
Inger 6, Wallner before the lock.
Yeah. All right. There you go. You got Chiefs call there. Would you full stack Taylor or mini stack the Yankees?
I mean, full stack sounds good. I personally don't have them enough, and it's horrifying, but yeah, full stack them if you want.
Okay. Chief, Noel or Wallner?
Wallner.
Walls balls, baby. If you had in a DK GPP, Chief, Cannon or Falter? Falter? Is that a dude? Falter? Cannon or Falter? Yeah. Okay. If you had to. To be fair, he said if you had to.
Oh God.
Cannon.
Find somebody like who else is close? Like I'd almost rather play the Orioles pitcher than either of those guys. I know, and that sounds crazy, but I really would.
Yeah. Okay. Taylor's on Cannon if you have to choose one of those two dudes. So there you have it.
Yeah, I guess I
didn't
didn't answer the question at all. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, between the two of you, we expressed we don't like either one, and if you had to, I feel like we got it done. Hey, good stuff, guys. As always, Chief, Taylor, excellent work. Taylor, have a wonderful vacation in Colorado. Have fun.
Thank you.
We will see you in a week or so. So for Chief, for Taylor, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been punched.